Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 6, text number 18. Rajan Patir Gururalam Bhagavatam Yadunam Daivam Priya Kulapatihi Kvachakin Karovaha Astveva Manga Bhagavan Bhajatam Mukundo Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukadev Goswami continued, My dear King, the Supreme Person, Mukunda, is actually the maintainer of all the members of the Pandava and Yadu dynasties. He is your spiritual master, worshipable deity, friend, and the director of your activities. To say nothing of this, he sometimes serves your family as a messenger or servant. This means he worked just as ordinary servants do. Those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily, but he does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service unto him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. While instructing Maharaj Parikshit, Shukadev Goswami thought it wise to encourage the king, because the king might be thinking of the glorious position of the various royal dynasties. Especially glorious is the dynasty of Priyavrata, in which the Supreme Lord Rishabhadeva incarnated. Similarly, the family of Uttanapada Maharaja, the father of Maharaj Dhruva, is also glorious due to King Pruthus taking birth in it. The dynasty of Maharaj Raghu is glorified because Lord Ramachandra appeared in that family. As far as the Yadu and Kuru dynasties are concerned, they existed simultaneously. But of the two, the Yadu dynasty was more glorious due to the appearance of Lord Krishna. Maharaj Parikshit might have been thinking that the Kuru dynasty was not as fortunate as the others, because the Supreme Lord did not appear in that family, neither as Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, Lord Rishabhadeva, or Maharaj Pruthu. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj was encouraged by Shukadev Goswami in this particular verse. The Kuru dynasty may be considered more glorious due to the presence of the devotees like the 5 Pandavas, who rendered unalloyed devotional service. Although Lord Krishna did not appear in the Kuru dynasty, he was so obligated to the Pandavas' devotional service that he acted as a maintainer of the family and spiritual master of the Pandavas. Although he took birth in the Yadu dynasty, Lord Krishna was more affectionate to the Pandavas. By his actions, Lord Krishna proved that he was more inclined to the Kuru dynasty than the Yadu dynasty. Indeed, Lord Krishna, indebted to the Pandavas' devotional service, sometimes acted as their messenger, and he guided them through many dangerous situations. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit should not have been saddened because Lord Krishna did not appear in his family. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always inclined toward his pure devotees, and by his action it is clear that liberation is not very important for the devotees. Lord Krishna easily gives one liberation, but he does not so easily give one the facility to become a devotee. Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Directly or indirectly, it is proved that bhakti yoga is the basis for the supreme relationship with the Supreme Lord. It is far superior to liberation. For a devotee of the Lord, mukti is automatically attained. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta. This is a famous verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada also quoted this often. Rajan patir gurur alam bhavatam yadunam. Bhavatam yadunam, of you. This is Shukadev Goswami telling Parikshit. Bhavatam, of you, of yours, and yadunam, and of the yadus. He is the pati, the maintainer. He is the guru, the spiritual master. Daivam, the worshipable deity. Priyaha, very dear friend. Kulapatihi, the master of the dynasty. Kulapati, dynasty, Kula. Kvacha, sometimes even kinkaraha vaha. Vaha kinkaraha. Kinkara, servant. Kinkaraha vaha astu. That is how Krishna behaved. Evam anga Bhagavan bhajatam mukundo. All of you Pandavas were bhajatam mukundo. You are all devotees of Mukunda. And so Mukunda muktim dadati. He gives liberation. Nasma karhichit bhakti yogam. Bhakti yogam nasma karhichit. But he will not give bhakti yoga easily. Shukadev Goswami continued, my dear king, Rajan, the supreme person, Mukunda, is actually the maintainer, Patihi, of all the members of the Pandava and Yadu dynasties. Bhavatam Yadunam Patihi. He is your spiritual master, Guruhu, worshipable deity, Daiva, friend, Priyaha, and the director of your activities, Kulapatihi. To say nothing of this, so he sometimes serves your family. Kinkara vaha, kinkaro vaha. He sometimes serves your family as a messenger or servant. This means he worked just as ordinary servants do. Those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily. Muktim dadati. But he does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service unto him. Bhakti yogam na karhi chitsma. But he does not give bhakti yoga, and Prabhupada's translation, to give the opportunity to render direct service unto him. This is the position of the Lord. The Lord acted as a Pati, Guru, Daiva, Priya, Kulapati for Pandavas and the Yadus. Kvacha Kinkaro Vaha, and sometimes even became a servant. Because all of you were Bhajatam Mukundo, Bhagavan Mukundo Bhajatam. And in this way, the Lord gave you all such an opportunity to serve him, which is very rare. Even mukti is easier to get. This is one of the important messages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the position of bhakti, and how bhakti to the Lord, loving devotional service to the Lord, is the highest attainment, is the perfection of attainment of the living entity. And so we see here in this context of Rishabhadeva's activities, in the teachings of Shukadev Goswami, these important concepts come up. And in the purport, Prabhupada has spoken about something very, very transcendental. We as conditioned souls, we become sad or we become elevated according to some material gratification we get or we don't get. Or if someone else gets some benefit in this world and we don't get that, we become very disturbed about it. But here in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining some other reason why great devotees feel saddened. Shukadev Goswami sensed or thought, maybe Parikshit is feeling sad because I am describing about Rishabhadeva, who is Lord himself, who appeared in the dynasty of Priyavrata. I have also described about the Lord appearing as Pruthu in the dynasty of Uttanapada and Dhruva. And it is well known that in the Raghu dynasty, Lord appeared as Ramachandra. And now, the Lord has appeared in the Yadu dynasty. And Yadu dynasty and the Kuru dynasty were contemporaries. Lord did not really appear in my dynasty. He appeared in another. Lord was present. Lord is present here. Our dynasty is here. He did not appear. How unfortunate we are. This was causing a certain sadness to Parikshit. See the kind of things which matter, which cause sadness to great personalities like Parikshit Maharaj. So unlike us. And so to encourage, Shukadev Goswami is saying, no, no, no. Even though the Lord appeared in Yadu dynasty, he was more attracted to your dynasty. He was the Pati, he was the Guru, he was the Daiva, he was Priya, Kula Priyaha. But even more than all that, King Karo Vaha, he became your even if an order carrier. Kinkara means a servant, a follower. So when Prabhupada says, Yudhishthir Maharaj once wrote a letter to Duryodhana, planning to have peace. And he wanted this letter to be delivered. And Krishna volunteered and said, I will deliver the letter. To go and deliver the letter is a very simple act, isn't it? Krishna became a carrier of that letter, carrier of that message of peace. Not only that, when the Kurukshetra war and the planning was happening, when Duryodhana took all the army of Krishna and the Pandavas wanted Krishna to be on their side, and then Krishna, what would he do? He said, I will become your Sarathi. So these are all instances of Kinkaro Vaha. The Lord became the order carrier. The Lord became the message carrier for the Pandavas. And this is the good fortune you Pandavas had. This is because the Lord was attracted to your devotional service. And this devotional service, opportunity to associate with Him and serve Him, is very rare. Even mukti is easy to get. Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. This is the point that Shukadev Goswami is making in this verse. It's considered to be one of the important verses in the Bhagavatam because bhakti moksham lagutva krit. This is Rupa Goswami's instruction. Rupa Goswami says there are 6 characteristics of bhakti, and one of the characteristics is moksha lagutva krit. Even mukti, moksha is considered trivial. Bhakti is so elevated. So, what is the pramana of that? Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Krishna may give mukti, but bhakti yoga, rarely he gives. Another characteristic of bhakti is sudurlabha. It is rarely achieved. It's a rare occurrence. It's a rare opportunity to have this kind of an understanding and devotion to Sri Krishna. So, these are some of the characteristics that the Bhagavatam presents. And so, Rupa Goswami, when he was summarizing the special characteristics of pure devotional service, he captures all these and he presents them. So here, there is one, you see here, dadati, muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Prabhupada's translation is also very to be noted. He does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service unto Him. So this is what bhakti enables the living entity to have opportunity for direct service unto the Lord. And this is not only in the spiritual world. Even as sadhakas, Srila Prabhupada has created an opportunity for all of us to do direct service. When we do deity worship, we are directly serving Him. When we are preaching, it is Krishna's most dear service. He has said, anyone who preaches the message of devotional service to others is very dear. And all the different activities that we do in the Krishna consciousness movement is all connected with serving the Lord in this particular service. When we chant, when we sing the holy names, is an opportunity to serve the Lord, to be in touch with the Lord. When we honor prasadam, we are actually in touch with Krishna in the form of His prasadam. So if you see the innumerable methods by which we can be in touch, in direct touch with the Lord, the opportunities that exist for us, even as sadhakas. But we should value this, we should do it respectfully, we should not be negligent about it, and we should be conscious of this glorious opportunity. Another thing here, Prabhupada mentions, the Kuru dynasty may be considered more glorious due to the presence of devotees like the 5 Pandavas who rendered unalloyed devotional service. They rendered unalloyed devotional service. Now, just want to point out this. We all know in the 9th chapter of the Gita, Krishna promises that the 9th chapter is called the most confidential knowledge. It's a very, very special, most confidential knowledge. Confidential knowledge means it requires special qualifications to understand and to access that knowledge. And so Krishna begins the 9th chapter, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase ashubhat. Guhyatamam, I'm going to tell you the most confidential knowledge because anasuyave, because you are not envious of me. So, what is it that Krishna teaches which is the most confidential knowledge in the entire chapter? There are actually 2 important themes that Krishna teaches in the 9th chapter, which constitutes the most confidential knowledge. One is the position of Krishna himself. If you analyze all the verses, you can put all the verses into these 2 themes. Krishna's position, knowing Krishna's position, and the second theme is devotional service to Krishna. And particularly, there is a certain kind of devotional service that Krishna points out again and again and again in the 9th chapter, which is unalloyed devotional service. I'll point out that. We will try to recognize that because Prabhupada has spoken about that, and that is what the Pandavas did, by which Krishna was attracted. Krishna is attracted to this kind of bhakti, unalloyed. So, Krishna in the beginning, I won't go verse by verse, it'll take too much time. I'll just take summary. After describing about his position, Krishna says, avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Here the word avajananti. Actually, we read these words, we read Prabhupada's books sometimes because of over familiarity. Sometimes we don't recognize the seriousness of these statements. I'll show you how Prabhupada points out some more things in this. The word avajananti, Prabhupada translates as deride. Fools deride me. And where does this word fool come? Avajananti mam mudha. Krishna has used strong words. What is Krishna's position? He has just now described. I won't go to that. You can read that. The immediate verse before that. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. The whole material energy is under my superintendence. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. So the entire universe is under his control. Every moment it is under his control. It is not that he has an indirect control. He has direct and indirect control. Janmadyasya yathonvayat itaratascarteshvabhignaswarat. Itarataha anvaya. Directly and indirectly, he is fully conscious of the universe. So that is how he is. And not knowing this, fools deride me. Actually, the word avajananti means the sense of that word is treat with contempt. Avajananti, deride. It also has the sense of despise. Not happy to hear about it. Having a low opinion. That's the sense of the word deride, isn't it? Having a low opinion. So, this is how mudha, avajananti ma mudha, manushim tanum ashritam. Because Krishna has appeared in a human-like form, one like us. He's having 2 hands, 2 legs, he's walking around. Looks like us. And so, fools who don't know me, avajananti ma mudha, manushim tanum ashritam, param bhavam ajananto. My higher nature, they don't know. Mama bhuta maheshwaram. The word bhuta has 2 meanings. One is that it can mean living entity and it can also mean everything that exists. He is the controller of all living entities. He is the controller of everything that exists. Existence is coming from him. That is his position. Not knowing this, ajananto, param bhavam ajananto, mama bhuta maheshwaram. Now, after saying this, Krishna says, who are these people who don't know my nature and what happens to them? In the next verse, Krishna says, Moghasha mogha karmano mogha jnana vichetasaha rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha. He has continued to use very strong words. There is another kind of people who are shritaha, who are, shrita comes from related to the same word ashrita, ashraya. Shrita, those who have taken shelter. Ashrita also means those who have taken shelter. Shritaha. These are people who have taken shelter of prakritim shritaha, a certain nature. What kind of nature? Rakshasim, asurim, mohinim, prakritim shritaha. So these are the people who have taken shelter of Rakshasim, Asurim. Rakshasim, demoniac, Asurim, atheistic, and Mohinim, bewildering. Mohana, completely Mohana. Bewildering. Because of this, what is happening? Three things are happening. You know, what is that we all do? We have aspirations in life, right? That's what happens to all of us. We have aspirations. And then, because of those aspirations, we seek some knowledge how to pursue my aspiration, jnana. And with that aspiration and with that knowledge, we endeavor. That's what people are doing. They have some hopes and aspirations and ambitions. And then they try to figure out what to do, how to achieve that. And then the world and the people teach us, you should do this, you should do that, you should become smart. And then we hear all those things, we become inspired. Now I will do this. Asha, jnana, and karma. And so Krishna is saying, those who are under Rakshasim, Asurim, Mohinim, Prakritim, Shritaha, their asha is Mogha asha. Their jnana is Mogha jnana. And their karma is Mogha karmana. What is this word Mogha? Prabhupada translates baffled. Mogha asha, baffled hope. Mogha karmana, baffled activities. Mogha jnana, baffled knowledge. So, this is the nature of mogha. Mogha means baffled. It has the sense of unprofitable. In other places, Prabhupada also explains this. Futile, unprofitable, useless, in vain. Actually, there is another word. Sometimes, when you want to understand the word mogha, you should understand the opposite of it, then we will understand that. The opposite of mogha is amogha. And there is a verse in the Bhagavatam, in the first canto, I'll try to read that, where Krishna, the Lord is talking about the word amogha. No, sorry, not Lord. This is Narada. When Narada meets Vyasa, in the very first canto, the conversation when Vyasa was feeling disappointed and unhappy, and Narada meets him, and Narada tells him, and in that conversation, Narada's words, Atho mahabhaga bhavan amogha drik. Shuchishravaha satyarato dhrutavrataha urukramasyakila bandhamuktaye samadhinanusmara tadvicheshtitam. This is also another, Prabhupada talks about this, and he comments on this word, Atho mahabhaga bhavan amogha drik. This is Narada telling Vyasa, Atha mahabhaga, you are very fortunate. Bhavan amogha drik. Bhavan drik, your vision is amogha. Amogha, here Prabhupada translates amogha drik means perfect vision. You have a perfect vision, understanding of the world. You are very fortunate. You have the perfect understanding. Shuchishravaha. And you have become pure by properly hearing from the Vedic authorities. and satyarataha, and you are totally dedicated to the truth. See, these are all the characteristics of Vyasadeva. And hence, urukramasya kila bandhamuktaye samadhina anusmara tad vicheshtitam. Tad vicheshtitam. Lord's activities, samadhina anusmara. In complete absorption, in such samadhi, you can actually reflect, you can remember. And hence, urukramasya akila bandhamuktaye, and urukramasya, Krishna's activities, you can explain, which is bandhamuktaye, which can free the living entities from all the entanglement. O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is spotless. You're firm in vow and are situated in truthfulness. And thus, you can think of the pastimes of the Lord in trance for the liberation of the people in general from all material bondage. So, the word amogha means perfect, no imperfections, no errors, and you have such a vision, Narada is saying to Vyasadeva. So, how do we go about otherwise? We are born here, and we are born into a certain family, and the family is very happy. Oh, my child is born. Right? Our parents were very happy when we were born. Like when someone is born, we all go and meet them and say, oh, very happy, congratulations. Same thing, when we were also born, somebody did that to our parents. And then we grew up, and then they poured their affection on us, and we slowly grew up, then went to school, went to college, and we create a certain understanding of the world. And that understanding is crafted, is shaped, is influenced by all these inputs of the world. We have no other alternative. We are helpless. All these inputs give us, and we form a certain understanding of the law of the world, and my position in this world, and what I should do. But this is not the perfect vision. On the other hand, we get Vyasadeva from the Vedic literatures. He's giving us a perfect vision. So that is called Amogha Drik. And on the other hand, if you don't have Amogha Drik, you are not helped by Amogha vision. What we will have is Mogha Asha, Mogha Jnana, Mogha Karmanaha. And in this kind of a asha and jnana and karma, what is that we are trying to do? How I can become the enjoyer in this world. There is one statement by Srila Prabhupada. The Krishna consciousness movement is trying to convince the whole world, we are not the enjoyers. Krishna is the enjoyer. This is one of the important things that we are convincing the world. We are not the enjoyer. Look at all other, so-called spiritual organizations. They are all trying to convince people you can enjoy in a better way. You can enjoy like this. You don't become negative. Have positivity in your life. Have good relations with your family, with your friends. You can see how they are actually teaching how you can be an enjoyer. But what we are teaching is completely opposite. We are not the enjoyers. Krishna is the enjoyer and we are his servants. You see, who is teaching this? All the self-motivation and positivity, positive thinking so that you can do well, you can enjoy life. This is what people are all generally teaching. Very fundamentally flawed, because Mogha Asha, Mogha Jnana, Mogha Karma, Vichetasaha. Completely bewildered. So, now after Krishna saying this is what happens to Rakshasim, Asurim, Mohinim, Prakritim Shritaha. They have taken shelter of such a nature, Prakriti, such a nature. Asurim, Rakshasim, Mohinim Prakritim Shritaha. Next verse, Krishna says, Mahatmanastu mam partha, Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha. But there is another kind of people. They are called Mahatmas. And they have taken shelter of a divine Prakriti. Not Asurim, Rakshasim, Mohinim, Prakritim Shritaha. Mahatmanastu mam partha. That's why the word tu is significant, indicates but. So far I described to you one kind, but there's another kind of people. They are Mahatmanastu mam partha, Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha. And what do they do? This is where Krishna is revealing the next important thing about in this chapter. Bhajanti Ananya Manasaha. This Ananya Manasa. Ananya means unalloyed. Anya, other. Ananya, no other. Only focused on Krishna. And Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. And why do they do such bhajanti, that such devotional service with Ananya Manasa? Because they have understood Gnatva Bhutadim Avyayam. They have understood, I am the source of everything that exists. I am the inexhaustible. So Avyaya Bhuta Adim. I am the Adi and the Avyaya of all that exists. So Mahatmanastu mam partha, Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha, Bhajantyananya Manaso, Gnatva Bhutadim Avyayam. In this verse, actually, I was telling about Avajananti. In the Mogha Asha, Mogha Karmano, Mogha Jnana Vichetasaha, I leave you to read carefully. In the purport, Prabhupada uses another expression of what these people are actually doing who don't accept Krishna in his true position. And that is what Krishna is teaching in the 9th chapter. My true position and how you can approach me with unalloyed devotion. These are the two themes. And in the very beginning of the chapter, he said, Krishna, I'm telling you all this. This is the most confidential knowledge. But you must have Shraddha in my words. Otherwise, you will miss this out. Ashraddha dana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara. This was the 3rd verse in the 9th chapter. Very beginning, Krishna is setting all this. You have to hear, you must have Shraddha in me, in my words. You know, there are statements by Prabhupada in the lectures, if you say, please have faith in Krishna's word. You don't have to have faith in my words. You must have faith in Krishna's word. Prabhupada is saying, how important it is to take Krishna's words seriously. So, Krishna is saying, so who are these people who they don't avajananti? What do they do? In other words, in the purport, persons who mock Krishna are to be understood to be demoniac or atheistic. They mock Krishna. In the same purport, Prabhupada says another word, another expression. People jeer at Krishna because they are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They deride, they mock, they jeer. This is the kind of people. And on the other hand, Srila Prabhupada teaches how we should look at Krishna. So, Ananya Manasa, he says that. And very soon after that, Krishna uses the same word, Ananya, in another context. Again, I'm rushing through. Ananyas chintayanto mam. 9th chapter. ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshema vaham. You see, he's bringing out the same topic of ananya bhakti, unalloyed devotion. And when he's talking about unalloyed, simply focused on Krishna. And immediately after that, to clarify that, Krishna is saying, Yepi anya devata bhakta. Anya devata, ananya bhakti and anya devata bhakta. Yajante shraddhayan vitaha. Tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. Those who are worshipping the other devatas. After saying all these things, then one may say, oh, it is Krishna's position is so exalted. Before that. Yes. Krishna's position is so exalted. Oh, is it very difficult to approach him? No. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. So it's not difficult. If you offer him with devotion, Krishna will accept, although he is so exalted. And then, another important thing, Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha. As being God, you have to expect him to be equal to all, no? Just like we say, a judge has to be very fair. He should not take any sides. We should expect God also to have that. Krishna is saying, yes, I am. But somebody who has got ananya bhakti, I become inclined to him. You see, ananya bhakti, how it captures Krishna. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But if they are doing bhajanti to me, mai te teshu chapyaham. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So I will slightly depart from my equanimity and I become a little more inclined to such a ananya bhakta. And hence, such a devotee, ananya bhakta, if some defects are seen in him, don't bother. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavastito hi saha. Why he is? Because he is ananya bhak. Again the word ananya. Ananya bhak. Ananya bhag, it comes from the word ananya bhag. Bhag means to divide. Ananya bhag means it is not divided. Their attention is not divided. And so, even though there is suduracharaha, so there is some fault in their behavior, but they are my ananya bhag, sadhureva samantavyaha. You should still respect them. Samyak vyavastito hi saha, because they are properly situated. And then what happens to them? Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shachvat shantim nigacchati. Very soon he will become properly situated because he is ananya bhak. And so in this context, Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Please declare to the whole world that such ananya bhakta, they are never defeated. Declare boldly that my devotees never perish. And after saying this, Mamhi partha vyapashritya episyu papa yonayo striyo vaishyas tata shudras tepi anti param gatim. So, taking shelter of me in such devotion, ananya bhakti, is so powerful. Mam vyapashritya. Papa yonaya, even those who are born in sinful situations, those who are striya, vaishyas, tata shudra, all of them can get param gatim. Nobody is excluded if they take to shelter of me in ananya bhakti. And what to speak of kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayastata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. And after that, Krishna concludes the chapter by saying, manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mama eva eshyasi yuktvaivam atmanam matparayana. So in this 9th chapter, you will see that Krishna, I want you all to read this leisurely, you will see that these are the two themes that Krishna brings out. Who is Krishna and how we can approach him with Ananya Bhakti. And such Ananya Bhakti the Pandavas had, and because of that, Krishna became very dear to them. And that such opportunity for Ananya Bhakti is very rare. Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.